What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is a little bit of a different video right here. A lot of people have been asking me, we're talking about social anxiety this week on TikTok. By the way, if you're not familiar, if you don't follow me on TikTok or Instagram, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about social anxiety, how to work through that, how to make friends, and as somebody who has had to move twice in the last 3 years or 2.5 years. I think I know a little bit about this from a personal standpoint, and also from the standpoint of a clinician. I know a thing or two about social anxiety, right? So let me talk a little bit about myself and the moves that I had to make, and then let me give you all some tips on how to, overcome social anxiety and how to make friends in a new setting, right? So for those of y'all who don't know my story, I graduated from Augusta University in May of 2019. I got my DNP, my Doctor of Nursing Practice degree, and then I went to Southern Virginia. I was working out there in a city called Williamsburg, Virginia, doing forensic psychiatry out there, and it was a great job, paid well. I loved the job. I loved the patients. That's such a vulnerable population, and I loved it, working there and doing that job, and it allowed me to pay my bills, help my family out, and things like that, right? But there was one big problem, right? I moved from Augusta, Georgia, right, to Williamsburg, Virginia. Brand new city. I had never been there before. I just really packed my car and I drove there to start my new life. And one big problem, I had no friends, and this is before the pandemic. We'll talk a little bit about the pandemic and how it's harder to make friends now that we're kind of like living in this new normal where we're kind of remote in a sense. But it was hard to make friends because I'm an adult, right? In college, you're going to certain places over and over. You're hanging out with your friends. You make friends, because your classmates become your friends in a sense. And if y'all have a lot of similar interests, right, then that can be somebody who becomes like a best friend or something like that. But I moved to this brand new city, and I'm in Virginia. Thankfully at the time I did have my ex girlfriend. So she'd fly in every now and then, and when she's in town, we'd find something to do. But Monday through Friday, right, the work-life balance, I didn't have a lot of friends, so it was really difficult for me. And keep in mind, I was learning a brand new job. So for those of y'all who are moving to different cities and learning a brand new job, that there's a learning curve, right? And for me, this is my first job out of school, so I would get to the hospital super early, and I would spend time reading the patient's chart, and then take the patient, and then try and learn about the patient and figure out what the right diagnosis is, what meds they need, this, that, and the third. But Monday through Friday, I wasn't hanging out with a lot of different people, and I wasn't really hanging out with coworkers because I was still trying to get adjusted to the job and the situation and the environment. So it was very hard for me to meet friends. And the way that I met friends was, through social media. And I hadn't started posting on TikTok a lot by then, but by the end of 2019, I had maybe 400 followers on TikTok, and now we have over 1 million, which is crazy. But I had like maybe 300 or 400, and I was starting to post more consistently, and I would use hashtags like Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, and then people who in the area would reach out and say, "Hey, I'm in the area. You want to get up, collab, or whatever the case might be." And I was on TikTok live one day, and I met one of my good friends. He's also a psychotherapist out in Virginia, Dr. Marquise Norton. And we met on TikTok live, and we actually got to meet in person. A great guy. We collabed a couple of times, and when I left Virginia, I was sad to leave him and his family and his kids, and just an all around good person. But social media is a great way to meet people, and for me, that's how I did it. Right? It's kind of like online dating in the sense, but you're not looking to date or you're not looking to meet people. You're just putting yourself out there by posting your content, right? And you hope that people will kind of gravitate towards it. So social media was a great way for me to meet people. And then of course I had my different restaurants that I would go to in the city. So I had some restaurants that I would check out in Newport News that I used to love going to, in Williamsburg, Virginia. I used to love going to Food for Thought on Richmond Road. There's another restaurant called Tipsy Beans. I would go there often, and then I would meet people, and that you become friends with the waiters and the waitresses and the people who are there often. So that's another good way to meet people, by going to certain places over and over. If you frequent a certain spot, and then you see somebody there, and then you come back the next Sunday and y'all watching football, that could be your next best friend or something like that. So that's how things were, as we were heading into the pandemic. And then this pandemic hits, and then we're all over the place. We don't know what's going on. People are working remotely, and even looking at myself, so now I do full-time content creation. So I'm spending my day in this room. This is my I just set this room up today, or yesterday, but this is my new office, right? So this is one of the spare rooms in my condo. This is my new office. So I spend the majority of my day in here looking through emails, preparing for my private practice, looking up different TikTok ideas to make, and doing the research, and then coming up with the theme behind it, and we make the TikTok video, and we're dancing and all that, right? So everybody's working remotely, right? And it's hard to get out there, and sometimes I have to force myself. I live in Los Angeles now, but I have to force myself to get out there and just drive around. I like to drive to up and down Mulholland Drive. I like to drive to Beverly Hills, or maybe go to Santa Monica and check out the beach every now and then. But I have to force myself to get out. So I said all that to say that we spend a lot of time at home nowadays. And like I said, I moved from Georgia to Virginia, before the pandemic. Brand new city. I'd never been there before. And after social media started to take off for me, and I got like maybe 500,000 followers or close to that on TikTok, I had the confidence to move from Southern Virginia out to Los Angeles, right? So I moved from there to this big city in LA. This big city in California, the second biggest city in the U.S., I think. And we're in the middle of the pandemic, and it's hard to meet people, it's hard to make friends, but fortunately for me, I had social media. So if I if I was following somebody and they were following me for months or a year, and I was in their city, like in LA, I said, hey, I'm out here in LA, I'm blah blah blah, I'm in the Valley, or I'm in Santa Monica, or I'm in Beverly, let's meet up and let's collab. So that's been a good way for me to go out there and meet people. So fortunately for me, I have a lot of followers, and that's a great way to meet folks. But even without the following, I still encourage you all to go out there and to put yourself in situations. Of course, let's make sure we socially distance and all that good stuff. Wash your hands. You already know what to do when it comes to that. But if you go to if you like to go to a certain sports bar all the time, or if you go there every Sunday to watch your football team, you go in there with your jersey and you see somebody else. Like, I'm a Titans fan, and you might see somebody who's a Buffalo Bills fan. You see them watching their team every Sunday, and before you know it, that could be your friend. Or if you like to go to the park, so I have a 1-year-old mini Australian Shepherd. We'll go to the dog park sometimes. Going to the dog park is a great way to meet people, because your dog is out there running around, and your dog will find one dog that they like, and then they're playing. And you go to the owner, and the owner's like, "How old's your dog?" I'm like, "My dog's one. Is that Border Collie?" I'm like, "No, it's an Australian Shepherd." And then after that, you're like, "Okay, my dog loves your dog. Let's do like doggy dates or something like that, right?" Or when you come out here, how often do you come out here? Let's get up. Maybe follow me on Instagram, or here's my number. Let me get your number. Let's get up sometime. Let's have lunch, right? These are some ways of meeting people. And if you're somebody who's stuck in the house, I encourage you, whenever there's a chance, to go out to something. You can go to eventbrite.com, type your city in there. There might be a free event, like a painting class or something like that. You can go out there and you can make friends, and you can meet people, and it's going to help you be more expansive. So you have to kind of put yourself out there. And a good friend of mine, Dr. Thompson, she's also a psychiatrist here in Los Angeles. She's doing great work. I love the work that Dr. Thompson's doing. Kirsten Thompson, she put me onto a study, which essentially said that, practicing acts of kindness can be a good way to overcome social anxiety. I thought that was fascinating. Think about it. You're practicing acts of kindness. So you go to, we have Ralph's out here in LA. We don't have Kroger, right? So you go to Ralph's and you see somebody and you like their shoes. You're like, "Oh, are those the Jordan ones? I like those shoes." And then they're like, "Oh, wow, thank you, I appreciate it." And then you might make their day, and then they might compliment you back. But it's gonna improve your confidence. You're out there talking to people, putting yourself out there, Or if you go to a comedy show and then you finish the show and you see a comedian out there who's just finished a set, like I'll go up to them and I'll say, "Hey, bro, I love your set. That joke about X, Y, and Z was hilarious. Keep it going." That's gonna make their day, right? And in turn, it's gonna boost your confidence too. So these are some of the practical things that you can do to put yourself out there and to help you be more confident. And also understand that if we've been stuck in the house for a year and a half, and you go out to like a event, or a networking event, or a kickback, or anything like that, you're gonna be a little naturally awkward, right? And what I say is I want to lean into my awkwardness, right? So if I'm awkward, like, I'm just gonna be me. I'm not gonna hide or suppress my awkwardness. Like, I might stutter here and there. I might fumble over my words. I might say the wrong thing, right? But I tell myself, you gotta make mistakes. You're gonna, even in this video, I might say the wrong thing, but I'm not gonna be concerned about that, because everybody's out here doing the best that they can, and nobody's perfect. So putting yourself out there is a good way to allow yourself to be more confident, and you're gonna make more mistakes, but you're gonna become more confident. And believe it or not, I've become more confident as I've been posting on social media. Like, I've been posting consistently for like 2.5, 3 years now. And the more I make videos, the more confident I get. And the funny thing is, whenever I take a break, let's say I take a 5 or 6 day break. I don't take breaks that often. But if I take a 5 or 6 day break, the very next video that I post, I'm a little anxious to post it, because I kind of got out that rhythm of making videos. So it's a normal thing to not be able to adapt to situations where you have to be in front of a camera, right? This is not common, like being in front of a camera and talking and things like that. So don't judge yourself, if you're trying to overcome social anxiety, or if you want to learn how to make friends in a new city, you got to put yourself out there, but also don't, if you talk to somebody, right, and they shoot you down, that was that one person who didn't like you. That's not the whole world. That's one person who was having a bad day. Maybe they got the wrong order at Chipotle, and all of a sudden they're just gonna be mean to everybody. Maybe they didn't have enough guacamole. I don't know. Whatever the case may be. But you don't want to spend any time thinking about that. That one person didn't like you. That's fine. The next person might not like you, but you're gonna find your tribe, and you're gonna find the people that want to be around you. So that's my little advice to people who are looking to make friends in a new city. And like I said, I'm living this. Like, I'm out here in LA. It's a brand new city. I've been to LA a couple of times before, and I do have friends from social media, but the majority of my day is really spent by myself, thinking, strategizing, making videos like this, planning for the future, setting up collaborations, with brands, and then also the private practice on the side. So it's a lot of moving parts. And sometimes you can feel like stuck in the house and isolated. So I have to, even every now and then, I have to force myself to go out, to events, movie premieres here in the city, or whatever the case may be. So I'm also, like, we're on the same team here. We're working through it. So that's my little 2 cents on that. I'm gonna keep making YouTube videos. I'm gonna keep making those reaction videos for y'all. I enjoy just being on YouTube as a platform. Don't have the most followers, don't have a lot on YouTube in general, but I love just sitting in front of the camera and talking to y'all. And if you all enjoy this, let me know. I'm gonna put small videos like this on my Patreon as well. So we're branching out, and we're doing some pretty cool things online. So if you made this far in the video, I want to say thank you for your attention, and stay tuned. Of course, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But until next time, take care.